Summer. So I'm excited to hear about the Goldilocks Women's Biking Group today. So just tell me right away, how did you get involved in this group?
So I think everybody, when they start cycling, sets a goal of doing what's called a century. It's a 100-mile bike ride in a day. And that's kind of like compared to a runner, it would be a marathon. So when I started cycling, I wanted to do the 100. In like 2019, I was getting a lot more serious. And then COVID hit. So like all the rides were canceled. And it was probably start of 2021 that I saw a poster or a post on Facebook about the Goldilocks ride. And their slogan is like, it's a pretty flat race, which is great because then you don't have to climb the hills. And you can pick the length that's just right for you. So they do 20, 40, 60, 80, and 100 miles. And I was like, I think I can do that. And I like the idea of it just being a women's race. So I signed up kind of on the spot. Like, I think I took 5 minutes to think about it and was like, yeah, I'm going to train for this 100-mile bike ride. They do it in September. So I knew I had a lot of training time and just signed up to do it that time by myself. I didn't have a team or friends or anybody. I just knew I wanted to complete the 100.
What month
So,
did you say that was in? You said you had plenty of time to train. Just one more time. What time
so
a
I
year was
think
this, you said?
it was 2021. I think I signed up in June
Okay.
and then the ride's in September.
Okay.
So
I mean, that's relatively quick, having not done 100 miles.
yeah, and I had been riding before,
Oh, you
but
had to. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I have been riding all along. Like I've been riding for 20 years, so
Okay. So this was
it
not like
wasn't.
brand new to you.
No,
Oh, okay. Okay.
I've
Okay.
been riding for 20 years. So, but I just hadn't done the 100 because it's such a daunting, huge task to think like, if I did it myself, I have to plan out stops for water breaks. How am I going to carry enough food? Like, what if I have my tire puncture or like worse that happens to my bike? Like, what am I going to do? And the Goldilocks ride covers all that. They provide food, they have water stops, they have bathroom breaks, they have mechanics along the path. So if you have a problem, you call them up and say, "Hey, I need help," and they come help you. So it takes a lot of the stress off your shoulders, and
Yeah.
Goldilocks helps you.
Yeah.
So
That makes a lot of sense. What does 100 miles actually take you typically? Like, I mean, what's a general time frame? I mean, I guess that may be varied, but
it
general time
definitely
frame.
does. So for me, it's about 7 hours. This year, I'm hoping to get in under a 6 hour, but I don't know if I'll be able to do it. So the
Seems
fastest I've
fast.
done it was 6:45, 6 hours and 45 minutes. But like the
Hmm.
professionals are like 4 or 5, like not even 5 hours. They can probably do 100 miles in like 3 to 4 hours. So
Hmm.
we're definitely a lot slower than professionals.
Yeah, but that seems pretty impressive. I think it's interesting you just said you when I talked to you before you were watching the Tour de France. So I actually strangely enough I feel like I had a kind of a bizarre American childhood. I grew up watching the Tour de France actually. I watched it every
You're so
year.
lucky.
But now I don't. How's that for irony, right? Like I grew up doing it, you didn't. Now you watch and I don't.
That's
My dad,
crazy. You
my
missed a
dad was
good
super into
stage.
it.
If you like cycling, today was a stage to watch.
That's good. Honestly, I'm so far out of it. I don't even know who's in it anymore. I was watching back in the Greg LeMond days. I don't even know if you.
Okay. Oh, I know who Greg LeMond is. Yeah.
Okay, it was back in those days where it was like way before Lance Armstrong, way before
Yeah.
anybody, I feel like in the United States even had a clue, but an American was winning still. So kind of crazy.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
started watching it when Lance started was racing. So
Yeah. That was actually one thing that I loved about Lance Armstrong is that I feel like he brought a lot of interest into the United States
so
with it.
so
Yeah,
many.
which is really cool. Yeah. And then that turned out kind of weird. But in any case, I'm glad he brought a lot of interest to it, right?
For sure. For sure.
So is this Goldie, tell me the name, I'm probably saying it. Is it Goldilocks Cycling, Goldilocks Women's
It's
or
Goldilocks women's, like an organized ride. Goldilocks is just what we call it, but
okay.
it's an organized ride. And they always have a benefactor that we give the proceeds to. We've done domestic violence in the past. We've done different like clothing drives. And this year they're doing breast cancer.
Hmm.
So we've teamed up with a group called Look Good, Feel Better. and they just help anybody going through cancer treatments to help with like self-esteem and help them feel better while they're going through this horrible treatment. So that was
That's really
another
cool.
reason I
Yeah,
love being involved in Goldilocks, is because I get to help these groups too.
totally. Two birds with one stone. I love it.
Yep.
That's really awesome. Is it a nationwide organization, just local to the state? Like, how big is this?
Look, Goldilocks is just for the state. They used to do some rides down in Vegas, but the past, I think like 8 years, we've only done it in out of Provo. We're out of Provo.
Okay,
So,
that's awesome. How many people, how many members are actually part of the organization?
I think each ride we have over 1,000 riders. We're hoping to get more this year. We always want more riders, and
Wow, that's pretty
it's
big.
yeah,
I mean, just for like a single city kind of based organization, that's pretty big, I feel like.
yeah.
And
So,
do you pay like is there like a membership fee? Is it just per race? How does it work to be a member of it?
so it's just an entry fee. You sign up for the race. I think it's $95 for the race, but like I said, that gives you all your food, all the
Right.
break stops. Like they have water, any mechanicals that you have. Like last year, my tire kept getting low, and I don't even know how many CO2 cartridges they used to pump it up every time. So,
That is worth a lot. Honestly, that's worth a lot.
yeah,
And honestly, like running races, you're not much slower than that, and you a lot less time, probably a lot less resource to put those on. So
yeah,
seems reasonable, honestly, especially because they're donating a bunch of money to help different.
for
Yeah, that's cool. That's super cool. So what is like down the road? What future things are you looking forward to?
So this year I get to be an ambassador for the Goldilocks, so I get to talk about it and not feel bad that I'm talking about it. I like have to, which I'm glad that I have to talk about it more. So we do group rides about about once a week. We're leading group rides for anybody who wants to come join it to help get people in their training in. Um, we all have, there's 7 of us, so we all have experience cycling. Um, and just with that comes a wealth of knowledge of like how to get the cycling done, how to stay more comfortable on your bike, how to fix your bike if you need to.
Yeah.
So
What? Oh, sorry.
I
Um,
just leading the group rides is pretty fun because then you get to meet all the people, and then on the day of the ride, you can ride past and be like, "Hey, how's it going? Or how's your ride?" You know, you just already have a group of friends and support that you can cheer each other on already. So
yeah. Are those regular rides? Are they like training rides that aren't associated with the paid full rides? Or I mean, how does all that work?
yeah, the group rides that we do every week, you can just show up. Though you don't have to be paid. We're going to try and convince you to do Goldilocks with us just because
Yeah.
that's the main, that's why we're riding, is to train for Goldilocks. But anybody can come, any women can come, ride those group rides and just have a good time. Those aren't
That's
fully
really great.
supported. You've got to bring your own food and
Right.
water, but we try and do them around where we can get water stops and stuff.
Okay. No, that makes a lot of sense. So those rides you're doing weekly, is that pretty much what it is?
Yeah.
And then the big rides are, you said they do a 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. Are those spaced out throughout the year? Like how often are the paid full
So
rides that you're doing?
those are all going to be on September 14th this year.
Okay.
So we all start from the same spot. They do stagger the times by about 30 minutes. So the hundreds will leave first, then the 80, 60, 40, and 20. Um, and you just go to one of the stops, come back if you're on the shorter rides. Obviously the hundreds take the longest, so they start us first.
Yeah.
So, but
And
those
that
are
ride,
all going to be the 14th of
nice,
September.
of September. And that's pretty much the same every year. It's always in September, always around that middle time of the year
Yeah,
or middle time of the
it's
month.
usually the third weekend of September, like the second or third weekend of
Mhm.
September, usually.
Nice. Perfect time for weather. Like it's
Yep.
it's summer's a little bit past. It's cooling
Yeah.
down. That's perfect. That's really great. And then do you do just the training rides through the summer? Does that extend through into the like spring and winter? Or is that just, I mean, probably because of weather, you have to limit that a little bit.
So weather outside rides are usually kind of more limited to spring and summer.
Yeah.
And a lot of cyclists do take the winters off. I didn't this year, and I'm glad I didn't because my fitness level is been a lot higher than it has been in the past, which is why I'm trying to go for my super fast goal of 100. I guess for me it's super fast, for others it might not be.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. I think I've seen a picture of you, with your indoor. I don't even know what
Yes.
they're called. Honestly, again, weird thing. I had those around my house growing up. I know exactly what they are. They were a lot less technical because
Yes, they're super
30 years ago,
technical.
but
Yeah,
but those are super helpful.
yeah, yeah,
Very
for
cool.
sure.
Well, it sounds like a really cool organization. And so once we get this out there, I'll have to get some more information so I can share. So, if anyone's interested, that they
Yeah.
can, connect up with you and get out there
And
and ride.
even though it's just a women's ride, we do have men that come do ride as support. They're called Papa Bears. So
Okay.
men are welcome to ride. We want the help, but it is
Nice.
like targeted towards women. But
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like for the longest time, things like cycling, even just in a lot of sports, had not had a lot of support in the women's space for organizations like this. And it's really cool to see over the last 20 years a lot of that shift. So I think it makes a lot of sense. So
yep.
it's great. Happy to hear it. All right. Well, thank you, Summer. I appreciate it. And just the last question. You have used the naked belt. You were actually one of the first, probably 10, within the first 10, I gave the early prototype to. So I appreciate you doing that. I'm just curious of your experience with it because you tried it out.
So when you cycle, you're uncomfortable often. So anytime I'm off the bike, I want to be the most comfortable I can be, and the naked belt helps with that. Like it's so comfortable. Even when wearing jeans, like it's just comfort to another level, and I am here for it all day, every day.
So, well, I'm glad. I'm glad it worked out for you, honestly. So really
Me too.
appreciate that. And hey, seriously, thanks again for taking a second to do this.
No problem.
Excited for your race coming up.
Thanks.